give me 1 second, okay? Are you Mr. Gordon?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Gordon, sir, you are here in 23 CF 378. You were arrested for falsely personating an officer, resisting officer without violence, fleeing and eluding, and driving while license suspended. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $100. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Your bond on count 3 is going to be $2,500. Your bond on count 4 is going to be $100. Sir, you're not to drive without a valid driver's license. Your bonds on 22 CF 14187 and 22 CF 7919 are going to be revoked. Those will both be set at none. Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. You were arrested in 23 CF 381 for grand theft of a motor vehicle, possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, lewd and lascivious behavior, petty theft, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $150. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3, $150. Bond on count 4, $150. Bond on count 5 is going to be $3,500. Bond on count 6, $100. Bond on count 7, $150. And on count 8, $100. Sir, you are not to return to the 7-Eleven.
Ma'am, those was my changes.
And then I'm revoking the bonds on all the out-on-bond cases. Those are gonna be set at none.
Anna, who do you have? You have Jones, right?
Roderick Jones? Yeah,
Ma'am, I was at Orlando Health Hospital.
thank you.
Stalking.
So how long am I gonna be in jail, ma'am?
I'm not sure, sir.
Take the stuff.
So I can't even find out, ma'am?
No, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
My name is Aaron Joseph Markham, ma'am, Your Honor.
Mr. Markham, you're here in 22 CF 7403. Sir, you failed to appear for a status hearing on December 7th. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150.
Okay, I was locked up in Seminole County.
So you're going to definitely want to call your lawyer, the public defender's office. Were they representing you before?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just give them a call and let them know the circumstances, sir. You're welcome. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Billy Robertson.
Mr. Robinson, sir, you were here in 23 CF 352. You were arrested for possession of ecstasy and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. Mr. Robinson, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release from the jail. And I'm not taking any action on the out on bond case.
I'm getting released today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
What is this? Good afternoon. Are you Audrey Brokaw?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, this is 22 CT 2534. This is your arraignment for the offense of violation of probation. This is a Division 83 case.
We're gonna enter a denial, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's gonna be February 6th at 1:30 in courtroom 6C.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Leslie Hamer.
Mr. Hamer, this is 21 CT 5971. This is your arraignment for a violation of probation related to a DUI.
We're gonna enter denial, Your Honor.
All right, this is a Division 83.
February 6th at 1:30 in courtroom 6C.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Yuris Perez Saracen.
All right, Ms. Perez, you are here in 22 CT 5889. You had failed to appear for your driving while license suspended case. Is this a case that we might be able to resolve today?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and Ms. Perez would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Did you look at her driving record?
I did, Your Honor. I saw one back in, I believe it was 2011.
Okay.
Her license was suspended for a DUI.
Yes, ma'am.
And so she's working on paying the fees and things of that nature.
Okay. I just want.
Everything's paid off. I just haven't been able to, well, I had some circumstances that came up that I haven't been physically able to take the last class. So I just have the last class left to do in order to get my license back. I believe it's like a 6-hour long.
Yeah, I just wanted to
class.
make sure that there wouldn't be an additional collateral consequence for you entering in this plea before you went forward on it. I'm sure Ms. George has talked to you about that. I just-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Did you have any questions about the plea form?
No, ma'am.
Are you
Your
currently on
Honor.
probation?
I'm on mental health probation, core probation,
I think court.
core, C-O-R-E probation, mental health
Where?
probation.
I didn't see that when I looked her up, Your Honor.
I don't know if it's still, sorry? It's Indian River.
St. Lucie County?
I don't know if it's still in effect or not.
I don't see anything in our notes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still in effect or not. It's something that I did it voluntarily, so I don't know if it shows up as,
Is it court ordered?
You know, was it through the?
I don't know if it's
or
probation or not.
Through the state or through?
It's something I did voluntarily, so that's what I call it.
Oh,
I don't have
Oh.
anything showing.
No, it wasn't through the state. The state didn't make me do it. It was
She's
voluntary.
on probation, Your Honor.
No, it's not. The state didn't make me do it. It's something I voluntarily opted for,
all right.
like a program
If you end up
type.
needing to file a motion, Ms. George, then you can do that.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Oh, yes, I'm a citizen.
Okay. I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days in jail with credit for 7 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due by January 10th of 2024.
January 10th of 2020. Oh,
1 year.
sure.
from
I'll
today.
have it
Yep.
way before then, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. are you Mr. Burgess?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You are here in 22 MM 4991. This is for your arraignment on a VOP for battery domestic violence.
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to enter a denial.
It'll be Division 50, March 20th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 4E.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Kane?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you are here in 22 MM 8206. This is your arraignment for the offense of petty theft of $100 or more.
There was no offer. We're going to enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. And
62 is going to be February 9th at 1:30 in courtroom 12C.
thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Andrew Kirby.
All right, Mr. Kirby, give me 1 second. Ms. Eugene, it looks like this is a case that he's not in jail on, and it's one of those cases where there's an unserved summons.
Your Honor, I didn't make an offer because I believe they are trying to, he has some other cases that are pending, that he's being held on, and I believe they are trying to do a global plea.
Well,
So,
this, I'm just saying, I don't even have any jurisdiction over Mr. Kirby because the summons hasn't been served. It's a violation of a pretrial release condition on a DV case.
I will make note of that, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, I just want to double check it though. Well, it looks like he came in for arraignment on January 5th, and at that time, you hadn't been served with, have you been served with a summons in this case, sir? No, okay. So you're not being held in the jail on this particular case. So the only thing I would say to you is today, I'm not gonna take any action on this. If you happen to be released and then you are served with a summons, it's gonna have a court date for you. And you're gonna wanna make sure you show up to that court date, otherwise a capias would be issued. Okay?
I think my lawyer can resolve it.
Okay, yeah, I can't do anything with it today, so. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Jorge Armando Ortiz.
Mr. Ortiz, this is 22 MM 8261. This is your arraignment for the offense of trespass on property other than a structure or a conveyance.
The offer from the state to resolve the trespass is an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, no return to 808 West Central Boulevard. There's also a cost of investigation in the amount of $99 to OPD. Ms. Ortiz would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Mr. Ortiz, do you have any questions about the plea form?
No, Your Honor.
Are you on probation?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 33 days in jail with 33 days credit time served. You're not to return to 808 West Central. You will have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation, to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $99. You will have 1 year to pay the court costs. They'll be due on January 10th of 2024.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Riley, Kalonda Riley.
All right, this is 21 MM 406. This is your arraignment for a violation of probation related to driving under the influence.
We're gonna enter denial, Your Honor.
And this is a Division 82 case.
It's gonna be February 6th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 9B.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Go ahead, say your name.
Maurice L. Williams Jr., ma'am.
All right, Mr. Williams, you are here for arraignment in 22 MO 1409. Is he entering a plea?
Yes.
Ms. George? Okay.
The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served. And Mr. Williams would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Williams, do you have any questions about the plea form?
Do you have any questions about the form you just signed?
About this form here?
It's right there.
Mr.
No,
Williams?
ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. No, ma'am,
Okay.
no, ma'am,
Are you on probation?
no, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 20 days in jail. You've got credit for 20 days time served.
ma'am.
You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due January 10th of 2024.
And will be released, right? Because I know the state only filed on one of the city cases, but on the Orange County Jail website, it's still showing both charges, but they only move forward on one.
One of them,
Mm-hmm.
court team will take care of it. I'm not sure what they do.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That's the only case he's in on, and I
Okay,
don't see anything else holding him, so.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Ed Diaz?
This is 23 MM 207. You were arrested for trespassing. There's probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Diaz?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to 512 East Washington Street, and you would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Sir, do you have any questions about the plea form?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Okay. Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, you will be deported?
Yes.
Okay. I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 1 day in the Orange County Jail with credit for 1 day time served. You're not to return to Lake Eola Park, and you'll have to pay court costs, which are due by January 10th of 2024.
Okay.
Thank you. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Ashley?
Are you Miss Flanagan?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is 23 MM 201. You were arrested for trespassing. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Miss Flanagan?
There was an offer, however, Your Honor, she has no history. She may qualify for PTD, so I was gonna ask for an ROR.
Okay. So, Miss Flanagan, you understand that you can't go back to the checkers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you need to appear at all future court dates?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When you're released, they're going to give you a court date. Make sure you appear on that day, and you're going to contact your public defender within 24 hours of your release.
Ma'am.
All right, I'll release you on your own recognizance at this time.
Barbara Jones's behavior? There was no offer to resolve.
Wait, no. I sent you an updated list. There was an offer.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Do you want to maybe reset her for tomorrow?
I will, yes.
Okay.
Was a refusal?
She what?
Oh, okay, she said she's gonna post the bond. I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right. This is 23 MM 203. She was arrested for trespassing. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Her bond is $500.
And no return to Disney, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you. Did I accidentally give you another? Because I have Mr. LeGrand right here. Did Jaquarius LeGrand bond?
On my docket, so I assume so, but.
Okay,
No, he didn't, he was bonding, but then a first appearance detainer out on bond was found, so he was added back on.
and we
Yeah,
need
he
to
is here.
see Mr. LeGrand.
He's not on my docket at all, so. First name was?
Jaquarius? Do you want a number for him? On my face sheet, would it be his jacket number?
I can give you I'll give you
Oh,
the booking.
okay.
It's 230000776.
Thank you. Shoot, I'm already. I just didn't turn that off. Oh, so Mr. LeGrand, this gentleman, he was bonding, and then they found a fad. I don't have any. Megan, do you have the case number for the ad?
Sure. It's
Oh, I have it here.
20, do you have it, Your Honor?
Yep, right there. Okay. Are you Mr. Watts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Watts, you are here for a warrant in 23 MM 115 for stalking. There was probable cause found in the warrant. I'm going to appoint the public defender. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm revoking the bond in 22 MM 8364. That's going to be set at none.
Your Honor, did you give a bond amount?
And then
for-
on the stalking, the bond is going to be 5,000.
Your Honor, on the out on bond, I didn't see that the state filed any charges. Upon my review, I believe he was arrested December 8th, but no formal charges have been filed. Additionally,
Well, he wasn't arrested on December 8th. He was arrested, it was a warrant, and he was arrested on the 3rd, and then the new warrant is for the 4th.
yeah, I thought the out on bond occurred on the 8th.
It did, but he was arrested on the 3rd, and then he bonded out.
So my only argument, Your Honor, is the fact that he's currently on Social Security disability. He's a single father. He's the sole provider for his child, military vet. I see the last conviction was back in 2018. I would just ask that you consider revoking the bond and doubling as opposed to holding him at no bond. He has not picked up any charges since then.
My concern, the doubling the bonds wouldn't do anything, wouldn't address the concern that I have in terms of revoking the bond. The amount of the bond's not going to protect anybody or anything. So my concern is the facts that are in the warrant, the affidavit for the warrant from 1-3, the arrest on 1-3, and then we've got the arrest on 1-4. So I'm revoking the bond. His attorney can file a motion on that case.
That's your bond. Call the attorney. And Your Honor, on the out on bond as well, can you appoint us, because he doesn't have an attorney in that case?
Yes.
Thank you. Zachary Campbell was a bond.
Okay.
Then we have Zachary David, he was RR,
All right.
and Richard Quick was a refusal.
Refusal?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. George, you want to reset him
Can we reset, please?
for tomorrow? Yeah. If he refuses tomorrow, then we can address
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Ezekiel Randall.
Mr. Randall, this is 23MO56. You were arrested for open container. Is there an offer for Mr. Randall?
The offer from the state was a withhold of adjudication, credit time served, and Mr. Randall would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Mr. Randall, did you have any questions about the plea form?
No,
Are you on probation?
no,
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
yes,
All right. I will accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by January 10th of 2024. Thank you, sir. Hello, tell me your name, please.
Hello, Mohammed Sheikh.
Sir, this is 23MO57. You were arrested for trespassing. Was there an offer for Mr. Shakim?
There was, Your Honor. However, he has no history. I was gonna ask for an ROR. Maybe he would qualify for the trial version.
So, sir, you understand you can't return to Backstage Village Billiards?
I understand now.
Okay. And you must attend all your court dates and contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time.
Cherry Charles was a refusal.
All right. He has 2 cases. I'll find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. He's got 20 CT 904. It's a failure to appear. Bond is set at none. And 22 CT 3724. It was also a failure to appear. Bond is set at $500. Yeah. You, Ms. Dauphin? Yes. Ms. Dauphin, this is 23 CT 20. You were arrested for driving while license suspended. There's probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you, ma'am. Ms. George, what did you want to do with this case?
I would just ask that you set a bond, Your Honor. She's on probation.
All right. the bond will be stayed at $500, ma'am. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Alari Jones.
Ms. Jones, this is 23 CT 74 and 23 CT 75. Ms. Jones. You understand that if you don't have a valid driver's license in the state, you're not allowed to drive. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Given the fact, Ms. Jones, that you don't have any criminal history, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time, okay? But I want you to understand that because you came in, you were just released back in November for driving without a valid driver's license. And the fact that you came in here today with the same offense, I could have revoked your release on that first case and you would not have a bond and you would be sitting here until you resolve both of those cases or the judge assigned gave you a bond.
Yes, Your Honor, and I did speak with her about that. She's actually working to try to get some of those fees paid.
Okay.
I didn't see an attorney on the out on bond. I was gonna ask if you would appoint us so we could try to help her get the.
Sure, sure. I just want you to understand that because the next time you come through here where you have driven without a driver's license, you're gonna be staying. And I don't want that to happen to you. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. No action. An ROR.
And do you want him now or at the end of the docket?
Sorry, I'm having a problem hearing.
LeGrand, who you asked for earlier, do you want him at the end or you want him now?
Oh, he can be brought in now. Thank you.
Have a moment, Your Honor. Your Honor. Oh, okay. So, there was an offer to resolve the case, but I believe his significant other paid the bonds already. I guess.
So the problem on this case was that he has the FAD,
Right.
right? So I think that's all we have to address.
Well,
Yes.
they didn't accept the bonds, so those charges are still open. Because of the FAD, they didn't accept it. Yeah.
He has somebody to bond him out, Your Honor. He wants to fight this case, the new case. On the out on bond, I would ask that you take no action only because he was arrested on the 19th from what I saw. And or the 18th. And he has no formal charges filed to date, so I'd ask that you take no action on the out on bond.
I'm gonna take no action. Well, first of all, in 23 MM 206, there is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, Mr. LeGrand. I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance as to that case.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not gonna take any action on the out on bond case.
George Avalos was a bond.
Okay. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Carlos Bedoya.
Tell me that again?
Carlos Bedoya.
Oh, Mr. Bedola. Just 1 second. All right, sir, this is 23 CF 351. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100. You also have an out-of-county warrant from Hendry County, and the bonds are set at none on that case, sir. Okay? Thank you. So once you resolve your Orange County cases, Hendry County will come and pick you up. Okay? Sure. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Hey. Hey, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. Listen, I have a problem. I'm having a big problem right now, a big issue right now, ma'am.
Okay.
Will you please listen to what I gotta say?
Well, I want you to listen to me first, and then I'll give you an opportunity to talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So let's just get through this, and then if you still have a question or a concern, I'll be happy to address it, okay? So, Mr. Bellamy, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is 22 CF 14903. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for possession of methamphetamine. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you're not to use controlled substances with, or any substances without a valid prescription.
This ain't me. This ain't me. Saying though, what I'm saying. Okay, so where the methamphetamine come in at?
All right, so, Mr. Bellamy, I'm going to, release you on your own recognizance at this time, sir. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release, and you must make sure that you appear at all your court dates. Do you understand? Mr. Bellamy, are you listening?
Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything else you need to ask me?
No, ma'am. So I'm getting RR on this?
Yes.
All right, thank
Your
you.
Honor?
Thank you.
He has 6 FTAs, one from just last year, and he also had a VOP from Georgia.
Okay. This occurred in August of 2022, I think, and we're in January of 2023. Take care, sir. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Joseph Blonick.
Mr. Blonick, this is 22 CF 14143. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. You are not to return to any Home Depot or Lowe's. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir, and your bond is $2,500.
Can I ask for a reduction?
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Do you have a job?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I work with my neighbor remodeling houses, precision remodeling.
How much money do you make per week?
600.
own your home?
I own my home.
You own it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where do you wanna, is that me? Or-
I would prefer to be ROR'd if I can, Your Honor.
Well, I'm trying to obtain some information from you first, okay? So, how long have you owned your own home?
4 years now.
Okay. Do you have any money in a savings account?
Not at the moment, no, ma'am. I'm taking care of a household.
How long have you lived here in Orlando?
I don't live here in Orlando.
Where do you live?
Polk County.
Polk County?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am. Every day.
Do you have a passport?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Eugene, do you have any questions for Mr. Blahnik?
I do not, Your Honor.
No?
No.
Okay. Ms. George, did you?
No, Your Honor.
Again, Your Honor, I would make note that Mr. Blahnik has 4 failures to appear, the last one being just last month, and he was convicted of petty theft in October of 2022.
Mr. Blahnik, I will reduce your bond to $1,500, sir. Thank you. Are you Mr. Bromwell?
How you doing?
Is that a yes, you're Mr. Bromwell?
Yes.
This is 23 CF 364, sir. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. This says greater than 10 grams, but I don't believe there's probable cause for that in the warrant or in the affidavit. I see 1.2, but if I miss something, just please let me know.
No, I think it's just a scrivener's error, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So I find probable cause for possession of, for ecstasy. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release. And you need to appear at all future court dates. You're also not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Understand?
I got you.
Thanks, sir. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
JD Cintron?
Ma'am, you were here in 23 CF 148. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for home invasion robbery and for grand larceny. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim or witnesses. Do not return to the scene or possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to stay the bond on count 2, and then as to count 1, ma'am, your lawyer will need to file a bond motion in front of the judge in Division 22.
Your Honor, there are co-defendants. I would ask that there be no contact with the co-defendants.
And you're also not to have any contact with any of the co-defendants, Ms. Cintron.
What was count 2, Your Honor? I don't have
The bond?
Yes.
50,000.
Coleman was refusal.
All right, I'll find a waiver of his appearance based on his refusal to come to court. In 23 CF 326, he was arrested for robbery. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. The bond in that case is $5,000.
Wait, I'm sorry, who?
Mr. Coleman? So maybe you didn't have this one, Ms. Eugene. So this case, 23 CF 326, he had bonded out before he ever saw a judge. So when he got rearrested on 23 MM 183, they endorsed the bond on the felony.
Okay.
So I had to IA him because he'd never, I guess, been IA'd on it, and I'm just setting the bond. 'Cause well, Wouldn't that be a fad? Technically, or am I
I
wrong?
think because he was never IA'd, I think that's why they didn't add one, because he's being IA'd now. I think that's why no fad was added for it.
Okay, I just need to think about that for a second.
No, I have a, let me check it.
I guess my thought process, I'm trying to figure out if he should have a bond because he already posted a bond
Right.
and he was rearrested. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out if he's entitled to have a bond on that because he posted a bond, right? Although he never saw a judge, he was given the opportunity to bond out of jail
Why was he rearrested?
for battery.
Also a new offense?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think that would be
That's what I would,
a fad.
Right.
that would be a,
It should have been on the battery, he should have had a fat.
I think so too. But I don't know that it actually mattered. Okay, now that I've thought about it that way, I'm not gonna set a bond on 23 CF 326 because Mr. Coleman previously posted the bond, and he posted that bond back on January 9th
yes,
of 2023, and that's on the endorsement form.
that was yesterday. correct?
Oh, so
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is-
yeah, this is,
He just was arrested yesterday.
this is a new law
They
offense, Your
both-
Honor.
They both,
What?
No, no, no,
It
no,
says
no.
they
it's a
both
new-
occurred on the 9th.
Yeah,
There's no way, there shouldn't be a fed. If he, both offenses, I don't know.
I have nothing in front of me.
I think,
so.
I think that he started to post, I think he posted bond here at the jail, and then the bondsman, like, immediately came off of it.
So he wasn't out on bond.
No, he wasn't out on bond. These are both probable cause arrests. I think they just posted his bond, and then the bondsman basically immediately came off of it.
Did they
and endorsed
post the bond on 23 MM 183?
Yes, on both,
Okay.
on both of them, and then I think just immediately came off of them.
Okay, okay.
Like, that's what
that
it
makes
looks like to me what happened.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the misdemeanor is not a new law violation. It's the two cases that he was arrested for. 8,700. 8,700, okay.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
what happened.
So the bond, I'm gonna stay the bonds on both, 5,000 on 23 CF 326 and 23 MM 183 will be well, no, I'm sorry, the misdemeanor is gonna be 100, because they're the same, it's the same occurrence. And then no return to the scene, no contact with any victims or witnesses, no weapons or firearms. Okay. Figured that out.
Timothy Cooper was mental health.
I will waive the appearance. Your Honor.
Okay, and that has to go downtown anyhow?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll waive the reasonable charges.
Okay, so these, there's two cases, 22 CF 14884 and 22 CF 14892. 14884 is a 7-count warrant. I'll stay the bond on count 1, 6, and 7. I'll stay all the bonds, actually.
Your Honor, there's actually 8 counts.
Oh, thank you. Okay. And so they'll all be stayed at, all the bonds will be stayed as they are? No contact with any victims or witnesses?
Your Honor, I'd ask for no contact with any minors.
And no contact with any minors? And in 14892, the bonds will remain at none. No contact with any witnesses, victims, no weapons or firearms, and no contact with any minors. Mr. Dixon? No. All right, sir. This is 23 CF 370. You were arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, which is what's listed on the front of the affidavit, but the substance of the affidavit indicates that you were arrested for possession of MDMA.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's just mixed. So- Mhm.
10,000? Ain't 10,000.
I'm going to find probable cause for possession of a controlled substance.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Dixon, I'm going to place you on pretrial release.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want any conditions with that, Your Honor?
Yes, sir, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. That'll be all. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Keanu Durns.
Ms. Stearns, this is 23 CF 332. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You were arrested for aggravated battery with a weapon and criminal mischief greater than $1,000. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. Your bond on count 2 is $150. You're not to have any contact with the victim. Ma'am, do you live in Jernigan Gardens?
Where?
Jernigan Gardens, 1456 Mercy Drive?
No.
Okay, so you're not to return to the scene either?
Okay.
Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
William Flynn?
Mr. Flynn, this is case number 23 CF 154. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for fleeing and eluding. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, at this time, your bond is set at $5,000. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Wayne Hamilton.
Mr. Hamilton, you are arrested in 22 CF 14369 pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You were arrested for
I
sexual.
will waive the reading, Your Honor.
Okay. So count 1 is a PBL, so sir, you're not entitled to a bond on count 1. Your lawyer will have to file a bond motion in Division 17. You are entitled to a bond as to count 2. At this time, I will set it at $25,000. You are not to have any contact with any minors. You are not to have any contact with any witnesses or the alleged victims. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name? Hi there. Tell me your name.
Billy Jordan.
All right. Mr. Jordan, this is 22 CF 6157. You were arrested because you failed to appear for pretrial on December 7th. Your bond on count 1 and 2 is 100. Your bond on count, or I guess that's backwards. They did it backwards. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 3 is 100, and bond on count 2 is 100. I'll appoint the public defender if they were not previously appointed.
Your Honor, could we move for a PTR?
It says you were not interviewed because it was
It's an
not on a
FTA.
capias. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a keep, so.
So that you wouldn't qualify for the pretrial program based upon the fact that you came in for a, are on a failure to appear warrant. So no, sorry,
Bond remains the same?
it does. Yeah,
Today I got bond.
you can bond. I don't know if you have any other holds or not, but
What did I say?
luck, sir. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Letitia Renee Kelly.
Miss Kelly.
ma'am.
Miss Kelly, you are here in case number 23 CF 371. You were arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver.
It's incorrect.
Pardon me?
That is incorrect.
She's a co-defendant.
She is
The intent to.
of Mr. Dixon. So, Ms. Kelly, I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Thank you, ma'am.
I will love was a bond.
Bonded, Mr. Love bonded. Mr. Lutz? Okay, Mr. Lutz, this is 23 CF 250. You were arrested, you have two cases. You were arrested pursuant to two probable cause warrants in 23 CF 250. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. In 250, your bond is going to be $2,500. And in 22 CF 14655, your bond on count one is $2,500 and your bond on count two is $100.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And Your Honor, before court, a first appearance detainer was added. It was found that he was out on bond in a 2022 CF 014301 AO. It's for a grand theft motor vehicle, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting without.
Will you tell me the case number again, please?
It's 2022 CF 014301 AO.
I just need to look at the date. Okay, so I'm revoking the bond in the out on bond case. That case, he was arrested on December 11th. In the case, the first warrant case, the alleged offense date is January 6th. And then the second offense date is December 17th. So they were alleged to have occurred after the case that he was first arrested on.
Oh, the 17th, yeah, because I see 12.
So he'd already bonded out and then allegedly committed these new offenses. So the first case will be revoked.
What does that mean?
I was just looking at it. I don't believe, do you see an attorney? I just closed it out. Could you appoint us?
No, I will appoint, the public defender was not appointed. It doesn't look like he went to initial appearance on the CF 14301. So I'll appoint the public defender on that case. The bond will be set at none. Mr. Lutz, your lawyer will have to file a bond motion for that case.
Marcano was a refusal.
All right, I'll find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. He has 3 cases. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him in all of the cases. 23 CF 358, he was arrested for possession of heroin and possession of cocaine. Bond on count 1 will be 150. Bond on count 2 is 150. In 23 CF 357, he was arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. The bond in that will be 1,000. And then in 23 CT 223, he was arrested for driving while license suspended, and the bond in that case will be $100. He's not to drive without a valid driver's license. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name, please?
Liz Martinez.
All right, Ms. Martinez, you were here pursuant to a probable cause warrant in 22 CF 14235 for home invasion, robbery, and larceny grand theft. You're not entitled to a bond as to count 1. That will remain at none. Your lawyer will need to file a bond motion in Division 10. Your bond on count 2 is $2,500. You are not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims. You're not to return to the scene. You're not to possess any weapons or have any contact with any co-defendants. All right? Thank you, ma'am. All right, that's 23 CF 353. He was arrested for possession of MDMA. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Bond is stated $1,000. Does Mr. Miscellaneous have a FAD, Megan, by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Not that I see. No, no fad.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Molimus?
Sir, this is 23 CF 249. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. This was pursuant to a probable cause warrant, sir. Your bond is going to be $1,000. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Andre Nguyen.
Mr. Nguyen, this is 23 CF 363. You were arrested for possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to place you on pretrial release, sir, at this time, and you are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Never happened.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Michael Page.
Mr. Page, this is 23 CF 362. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release.
So that means I get to go?
You get released today, yes. You're going to have to check in with pretrial. They'll explain that to you before you go. They're going to monitor you while your case is pending, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any conditions with that pretrial?
No.
Ma'am?
No, she's not talking.
Take all this. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.
Dion Paz was a bond.
Okay. Are you Mr. Ragland?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Ragland, sir, you are here. You have 3 cases. You have 23 CF 348, you were arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. There is probable cause. There's also 23 CT 225, you were arrested for driving while license suspended. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. Your bond for the driving while license suspended is going to be $100. Your bond on the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon is $4,000, and I'm revoking the bond in 22 CF 11848. That bond will be set at none, sir.
Your Honor, I would ask that you, not take any action on the out on bond. He was arrested, looks like, from what I could see, October 11th of last year. To date, no information has been filed. If you are inclined to revoke, I would ask that you revoke in double. Additionally, I would ask that you appoint us on the out on bond, as I do not see an attorney appointed in that case.
Okay. I'll appoint you on that case. Let me just look at it. I won't take any action on the out-on-bend cases. The state has not filed an information. Ma'am, tell me your name, please. Ma'am, you are here in 23 CF 145. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for home invasion, robbery, and grand theft.
Yes, ma'am.
I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Count 1 is a punishable by life felony, so you are not entitled to a bond at this time. Your lawyer is going to need to file a bond motion in Division 14. Bond on count 2 will be stayed at $50,000. Ma'am, you're not to have any contact with any of the co-defendants, the alleged victim, or any witnesses. You're not to return to the scene, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Is that it? Thank you.
Your Honor, thank you. Here was a refusal.
All right, I will find a waiver of his appearance. 23 CF 324, he was arrested for possession of cocaine and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. I'm appointing the public defender, and I'll stay the bonds at $1,100. Mr. Scanlon?
How you doing, Your Honor?
Mr. Scanlon, you have 2 cases this afternoon. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant in 22 CF 12822 for fleeing and eluding. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases.
I didn't hear the first case, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
Oh.
You did not hear something?
I didn't hear the
what you
first.
said, the first case.
Oh, the first case you were arrested for was fleeing and eluding. The bond on that's gonna be $2,500. The second case that you have is 22 CT 4401. That was a failure to appear on a driving while license suspended case. You failed to appear for a non-jury trial. The bond in that case is set at $2,000. Are you Mr. Shivers? Shivers?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you were arrested in 23 CF 360 for possession of cocaine and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Shivers, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You must appear at all of your court dates and contact your public defender within 24 hours of your release, sir. Thank you. Are you Mr. Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Smith, this is 23 CF 367. You were arrested for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. Your bond on count 2 is $150. You are not supposed to you cannot possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Thank you. Are you Mr. Stubbs?
Ma'am.
Mr. Stubbs, you are here in 22 CF 14506. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. The bond on the warrant, I'm going to modify. This is a punishable by life felony, and the bond's only good until first appearance. So the bond is actually going to be set at none, and you're going to have a bond hearing in Division 12.
So the bond set at 9, and I have to have a bond hearing?
Correct. So you're also not to have any contact with the victims and no return to the scene and no weapons or firearms, sir.
Okay, he stated he already hired an attorney, Your Honor.
Okay, who'd you hire?
Mr. Cunningham.
Okay, then you don't want me to appoint the public defender? Are you positive you hired Mr. Cunningham? Okay, then I won't appoint the public defender. Okay, thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Thacker, Billy.
Mr. Thacker, you have 2 cases. You were arrested in 22 CF 11663. This was pursuant to a probable cause warrant along with 22 CF 10534. These are both for petty theft with 2 or more prior convictions. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both, sir. Your bond in 11663 is going to be set at $1,000, and your bond in 10534 will be set at $1,000. You're not to return to the scene of either offenses.
Ma'am, I just did 5 months in the Seminole County Jail. Is there any way we can go ahead and resolve this?
I can't resolve them at first appearance because they're felonies. You do also have a whole out of Volusia County that you're going to have to deal with as well. So all I can recommend to you is to get in touch with your lawyer and let them know that you want to get them resolved, and hopefully they can get in touch with the state attorney and see if they can get the ball moving for you very, very quickly. Okay, but I'm legally not allowed to, by our administrative order, to take a plea on a felony at first appearance. Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Your name? Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name.
Bruce Watkins.
Mr. Watkins, sir, you are here in 23 CF 361. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Watkins, I'm releasing you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to contact your public defender within 24 hours of your release. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription, and you must appear at all your court dates.
What was the last part, please?
You must appear all your court dates.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
James Williams, hello, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, this is case number 23 CF 356. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You cannot possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You must contact your public defender within 24 hours of your release, and you have to appear at all your court dates. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Deputy Wright.
Mr. Wright, you are here in 23 CF 372. You were arrested for trafficking in methamphetamine, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, 2 counts, and grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Megan, do you have an updated face sheet for him? Mine doesn't have any. This is what mine looks like. Bond on count 1 is going to be $15,000. Bond on count 2 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 3, $150. Bond on count 4, $150. Sir, you are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms. Thank you. Are there any other matters for this afternoon? No?
From defense, Your Honor.
All right, then court will be adjourned.
O senhor foi detido, né, senhor, por ataque físico, né? No caso, foram 2 acusações e também por ter sido colocado erroneamente lá, né?
The court finds probable cause.
E a corte acha motivo plausível.
I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
E eu vou determinar defensor público para representá-lo.
In these questions, ma'am, do you need the interpreter?
No, I don't.
Okay. Ms. Ramundi, did you want to have contact with Mr. Feliciano?
Not at all. This is the second time that this happens, and I'm really afraid for my life.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Did the state have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, sir, Mr. Feliciano, at this time, you are not to have any contact with Ms. Ramundi.
Senhor, seu Feliciano, o senhor não pode ter nenhum contato, tá, com a senhora Rimuri. I'm sorry, can you tell me the name of the person, spell, please, the lady's name?
Sure. It's Reimmundi.
Ah, ok. Com a senhora Raimunda, tá? O senhor não pode ter nenhum contato. Thank you.
You are to maintain a separate residence, but you can go back one time with the police to get your things.
O senhor tem que manter uma residência separada. O senhor pode ir uma vez lá na casa, acompanhado de policial, para pegar os seus pertences.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms.
E o senhor não pode ter nenhuma arma e nenhuma arma de fogo.
Bond on count 1 for 23 CF 374 will be $1,500. Bond on count 2 is $100. Bond on count 3 is $100. And
Apologize. Can you give me that again? A small segment.
Yes, ma'am. For bond on the first case, there's 3 charges, and the first bond is $1,500, and then it's $100.
Na primeira acusação, senhor, são 3 fianças. A primeira de 1.500, a segunda de 100 e a segunda de 100.
And for the second case, bond on count 1 will also be $1,500, and bond on count 2 will be $100. The conditions of release. Sorry about that, Madam Interpreter. I was going to say the conditions of release on both cases are the same.
Uhum. No segundo caso, são duas acusações. A primeira tem uma fiança de 1.500 e a segunda é de 100. E as condições, a condicional de liberação nos dois casos são as mesmas.
Sir, do you have any questions?
Alguma pergunta, senhor?
No. And he does have an immigration hold, just so he's aware.
Mr. Feliciano, you do have an immigration hold. So if you post your bond, you may not be released until immigration comes to see you.
E o senhor tem aí, no caso, o senhor está sendo segurado, né? Se pode dizer assim, pela imigração. Então, pode ser que mesmo pagando a fiança, o senhor seja aí mantido ainda por causa da imigração.
Okay. Ma'am, did you have any questions?
Do I have like
A senhora tem... Ah, desculpa, sorry.
Yes, do I have some sort of protection order or?
I don't know. You would have to go down to the courthouse downtown on Orange Avenue, and it's the 3rd floor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. All right. Thank you, Madam Oh, excuse me. I guess, Mr. Feliciano, you have a question?
Senhor, o senhor tem perguntas?
Eu só queria saber se eu posso também deixar registrado, porque essa questão de eu ter sido preso, mais uma vez, é a segunda vez que eu sou preso. Com a relação com a minha esposa, todo esse tempo eu estou casado com ela, ela tem ameaças comigo, tudo vai chamar a polícia, tudo chamaria a polícia.
So this
Madam
doesn't sound
Interpreter?
like a question to me. This sounds more of like an explanation. So if he has a specific question about his terms of release, I'd be happy to answer that, but I don't want to talk about his case.
Senhor, é que parece que o senhor está explicando, né? No momento, ela não precisa de nenhuma explicação. Ela queria saber se o senhor tem alguma pergunta sobre o caso, sobre a liberação do senhor.
Não.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Não. Obrigado,
You're all
senhor.
set, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am, for using our service. Bye-bye.
Madam Interpreter, we're all set this morning. Sir, good morning. Your name, please?
Yes, Nara.
Mr. Nar, you have two cases this morning, 19 MM 9535, where you had failed to appear for a status hearing. Your bond on count 1 is 5,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100. And then you have, excuse me?
There's no incidents. There's no incidents. No.
Well, I'm just telling you, you failed to appear for court.
The guy, he came to my address, but
Stop.
No. Mr. Nar, I'm not talking about the facts of your case or the underlying cases. I'm just telling you that you're here today because you failed to appear for your court hearings, and I'm telling you what your bonds are.
we already finished with that like a year ago. I haven't had any run-ins with the person again. We haven't had any incidents. There's no incidents mentioned here.
I understand what you're telling me, but I don't believe that you think you're telling me the cases are closed?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me just take a look to see if
They are not, Your Honor.
they are not.
They are
I
not.
have my rent paper, and I just.
I don't know, Mr. Nar, you're gonna
They
have
ran
to
those.
talk, Mr. Nar, Mr. Nar, listen to me. You're going to have to talk with your lawyer about that because I'm being told that the cases are in fact open.
The lady, he never said who the person were.
Okay, but Mr. Nar, you're not listening to me.
He never gave me a
Mr. Nar, I'm gonna remove you from the courtroom because you're not listening.
I have documents on me, something.
All right, so the bond on 20 MM 561 is $5,000, sir.
Paying rent where I live. I didn't
Okay,
receive no-
thank you, sir. Thank you. We're
Your Honor, is
finished.
the public defender appointed?
Was a PD previously appointed? The PD is appointed.
Thank you.
Thank you. No. Good morning. Are you Mr. Russell? Yes. Sir, this is 17 CF 18767. You're here on a violation of probation, sir. It's alleged that back in October, you failed to report, you were instructed to report to probation, and you failed to report in November, and you changed your residence without getting permission. At this time, the bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, and you'll see the judge in about a week.
All right, is that gonna be the actual court date?
Excuse me?
Is that gonna be the actual court date,
Well, it's the arraignment.
arraignment?
Mm-hmm.
What's the usual, like, what is the usual, like, sentencing on something like that?
I don't know. That's something you're gonna have to talk with your lawyer about.
Like reinstatement or something like that?
There's a lot of options that might be available to you, but you'll have to talk with your lawyer, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
So I might see him in a week?
Excuse me?
So I might see him in a week?
Yes. Judge Lattimore. Okay? Good morning. Your name?
Justin Petitfair.
Mr. Petitfair, this is 23 CF 379. You were arrested for aggravated battery, and kidnapping. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Did y'all look at count 3?
Your Honor, I think, I apologize, did you want to say something?
I think we're gonna say the same thing. We both believe that it was, it should be false imprisonment. I believe the kidnapping statute falls under the same statute number. It was a subsection.
Yeah, when I looked up the kidnapping statute, which is 78701, there would have to be the intent to hold for ransom or reward, commit or facilitate a felony, inflict bodily harm or terrorize or interfere with the performance of a government or political function. And when I read the facts, he took her to the hospital.
Your Honor, I think it should be 787.02, which is just the false imprisonment.
But all that is false.
Well, that may be true, but I'm just trying to figure out what was you were properly arrested for and what's our probable cause for, and you can talk to your lawyer about the underlying facts, okay, sir? I don't know, is kidnapping a lesser, or is false imprisonment a lesser included offense of kidnapping?
They're in the same chapter, Your Honor. Kidnapping is one, false imprisonment. Sometimes they're even listed together. Last week, we had an issue where it was kidnapping, false imprisonment, but it was the false imprisonment statute.
Yeah, when it shows up, it appears with kidnapping and false imprisonment, which is weird. I don't know why, but.
I think that might just be a clerical delay in the affidavit. I'm gonna look at the jury instruction. It is. It's a category 1 lesser included offense. Okay, so I will find probable cause as to count 3 for false imprisonment. The statute for that is 787.02. Is there a witness here for Mr. Petitfair? No. All right, sir, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 2 is going to be $100. Bond on count 3 is $150.
Everybody be blessed. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir. Good morning, your name?
Nikos Riley Roman.
Mr. Roman, you're here in 20 CF 538 and 23 MM 198. That case is a battery, domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can return one time with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on that case is going to be $500. You also have the felony violation of probation, and in that matter, your bond is set at $2,300, and the basis of the violation is that you failed to make your restitution payment, sir. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, good morning. Could you tell me your name, please?
Rebecca Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, you are here in 23 CF 380. You were arrested for child abuse and battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. Your affidavit seeking the appointment of the public defender indicates that you make $1,000 per week and you have one dependent. Is that correct?
I have two.
You have two dependents?
I have a daughter and a son.
Okay, I'm gonna make that correction on your affidavit. Ian, does that change it? No. And it also indicates that you've got cash and a savings account.
Yes.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am? Do you have money, enough money, do you think, in your savings account to hire a lawyer?
No, I don't feel like I would need a lawyer. I have DCF, I have the therapist, counselor, a lot of people about this issue.
You definitely need a lawyer. This is a felony case.
Yes, I know. That's why I have police officers, the affidavits, everything.
I guess I didn't understand what you're trying to tell me. I'm asking you, are you gonna be able to hire a lawyer for this case?
No.
No, okay. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, ma'am. And, I'm gonna set your bond at $1,000 on count 1 and 100 on count 2. Ma'am, you are going, I'm gonna order that you're not to have any contact with your daughter. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can go back one time with the police to get your things.
She doesn't stay with me at.
That's fine.
Can I explain?
No, I don't want you to tell me about the facts, but if your daughter's not at your house,
Yes.
you can be there. You just can't live together, is my order.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we was already trying to establish.
Okay, so you also can't possess any weapons or firearms, and you'll need to cooperate with the DCF investigation.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Same way.
Sir, good morning. Your name, please? Mr. Coleman, this is 23 MM 181. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Coleman?
There is not, Your Honor. That was the family of, Celeste.
Oh, okay. I just wanted.
Here for, just to see the
Got it.
outcome of the case.
Okay. So, Mr. Coleman, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can return one time with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Yes,
Do you have any questions about those conditions?
I was speaking to my wife this morning, and the battery's not turning on, so she can't make it, but she wanted to.
I understand. So I want to explain to you now, though, since she's not here,
Yes, ma'am.
you can no longer contact her. If she contacts you, do not answer the phone, do not respond to a text, do not respond to an email. You're gonna call that number when you get out, and you're gonna talk to your lawyer, and you're gonna have them file a motion if you need to get the conditions modified. But I can't allow contact today because she's not here. I'm sorry she couldn't make it.
And just tell her that?
You're not supposed to have any indirect,
From here, call her, like legally, just call her and explain that there is now a, what is it?
You've been through this before.
no contact
Yeah,
order?
there's no contact, and how she can either get it to stay or get it taken off.
Well, I cannot, she could call, and again, I can't tell her, she can call the state attorney's office and get information. She can call the public defender's office to get information. But the safest thing for you to do, sir, is just to not do anything.
Yes, ma'am.
And kind of let it work itself out, okay? Because you don't want to get rearrested for violating the orders, and those are new criminal charges, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to Megan.
And he does qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna place you on pretrial release, so you won't have to post a bond to be released from the jail, and they'll monitor you while you're out in the community waiting for the case to resolve, okay? Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
That's it. Special. Take over.
So,
You don't have to pay a bond. They're gonna release you.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you Ms. Franklin?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. This is 23MM208. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can return one time with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Ms. Franklin, how long have you lived in Orlando?
Like my whole life.
How old are you? 25?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm trying to qualify you to be placed on pretrial release. It indicates that they called your emergency contacts, but they couldn't get a hold of anybody to verify your information.
My mom's at work, sorry. That's why they probably didn't.
All right, where does your mom work?
She work at like I think a tax place, like scheduling appointments on the phone.
Okay. Do you know her address?
Yes.
Okay, could you give me her address?
It's 811 Center Street.
811 Center Street?
Center Street.
Yeah, Center.
Citrus, like,
Citrus?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, got it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Is that Orlando?
Yes, ma'am. Orlando, Florida. I think the zip code is 32810.
All right, and how about a good phone number for your mom?
407-219-8740.
All right, and do you have a phone?
Yes.
What's your phone number?
407-466-8222.
All right, I'm gonna place you on pretrial release at this time, ma'am. Subject to the conditions that I previously explained. Do you have any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Tell me your name.
Pedro Gomez, Comas.
Mr. Gomez Comas, this is 23MM205. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things if you need to. And I understand in the affidavit it said that Catherine stated she was in the process of moving out. If she's not living there, you are allowed to be there, but if she's there, you can't. Does that make sense? Okay. You can't possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Do you have any questions?
What is that exactly?
So essentially, you're not gonna have to pay any money to be released from the jail, but you are gonna have to report to pretrial, and they're gonna monitor the conditions I just explained to you while you're waiting for your case.
You able to leave today?
Yes. You're welcome. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Ms. Perez?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. This is 23MM199. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Delgado?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Delgado, do you want to have contact with Ms. Perez?
Yes.
And do you live together?
Yes.
Do you want to continue living together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you afraid of her?
Negative.
Have you all ever had any incidents like this before last night?
No.
How long have you been in a relationship?
4 years.
Are there kids in the home?
Yes.
How many?
2 little ones and 1 teenager.
What was the first one?
Teenage son, 15. Daughter, 4 years old, and daughter, 1 year old.
Got it. All right. Do you have any concerns about the kids' safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No.
Oh, no questions.
No, okay.
No question.
I'm sorry, Miss Eugene, I was blanking on your last name. I knew your first name, but I was blanking on the last name. Ms. George, you didn't have any,
No, Your Honor.
okay. All right, so at this time, Ms. Prez, I'm gonna order that you're not to have any hostile contact with Mr. Delgado. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
Okay. And you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. All right, and I will place you on pretrial release. Do you have any questions? No. All right, she will be released later today, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Are you Ms. Rodriguez? I am. All right, this is 23 MM 202. Ma'am, you were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause, and I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Edwin Rodriguez?
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, do you want to have contact with Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
All right. And are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you want to continue living together?
Yes.
How many children do y'all have?
1.
How many?
1.
Do you have any concerns about the child's safety if I were to allow Catherine to return home?
No.
Have there been instances similar to this in the past between the two of you?
Yes.
How many?
1.
When was that?
2015.
I didn't go to jail for that.
Excuse me?
I didn't go to jail for that.
Okay. Ms. Eugene, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. George? No, Your Honor. All right. So, Ms. Rodriguez, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about it?
Does that mean that I can still go home and collect?
Yes, so let me just explain it. So no hostile contact means that you are not allowed to argue, you're not allowed to fight, you're not allowed to be aggressive toward him in any way, okay? You are allowed to return home, you're not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm gonna place you on pretrial release. All right, so you need to check in with them, and they're gonna monitor your conditions while you're waiting for your court case. All right? She'll be released later today, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
Want to teach in Brevard County.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the name.
Knight, Alicia Knight, the first out of county.
Okay.
So when they do that, do we need to see them when they get back, or can I just do the IA and they can post the bond from Brevard?
No, they, yeah.
Oh, it is a Brevard warrant. Got it. All right, thank you. All right, I'm gonna find a waiver of Mr. Brown's appearance based upon his refusal to come to court in 16 CF 9854. This is a violation of probation. He's alleged to have committed a new law offense in 23 CF 1624. There's probable cause. The bond will be set at none, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. Sir, are you Mr. Carr?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is, you have two cases this morning, actually. You've got a new law offense in 23 CF 365, which is possession of a lazapram. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in this case and the violation of probation. The bond on the possession of a lazapram will be $1,000. And then the violation of probation is based upon that new law offense for which there's probable cause. So bond on the VOP will be set at none, and you will see Judge Lattimore in about a week, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Warriors Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, you were here in 22 CF 6345. This is a violation of probation. It's alleged that you had a positive drug test and you submitted a tampered specimen. The bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Lattimore in about a week.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Terrell Jack.
Mr. Jack, you are here for a violation of probation in 21 CF 4506. It is alleged that you violated your probation by committing a new law offense on December 14th in Osceola County, Florida. The bond is set at none. And I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Lattimore in about a week.
When will I know that? When will I know the specific date of the
Do
date?
you have that, Ann, by any chance? Just 1 second. The 19th.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Is that the same for everybody? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Tell me your name, sir.
Alan Peterson.
Mr. Peterson, this is 21 CF 1317. You are here because it's alleged you violated your probation by failing to make your restitution payments. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is set at none, and you're going to see Judge Lattimore in about a week.
About a week?
Mhm.
It'll be for my VOP?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Evan Roberts.
Mr. Roberts, you have two cases this morning. You have 2016 CF 4006. That's a violation of probation. The alleged violation is that you were arrested for battery on December 16th in Seminole County, Florida. The bond,
It was dropped on,
okay, that may be true, and that's something you're gonna need to talk to your lawyer about. I can't modify or do anything about that today because I don't have all that information, but that's certainly something you're gonna wanna to tell your lawyer. And then you also have a violation of probation in 16 CF 1990. Again, the alleged violation is that battery on the 16th of December in Seminole County, Florida, and the bond is set at none. You'll see Judge Lattimore in the next week.
Okay.
And you have the contact information there for the public
Thank you
defender.
very much.
Thank you. Sir, are you Mr. Douglas? Yes? Thank you. This is 19 CT 1820. You were arrested for violating your probation. It's alleged that you committed a battery on October 27th in Volusia County, Florida, tampering with a witness on the 7th, or excuse me, on October 27th in Volusia County, and that you did not pay your court costs. The bond is set at none. Ms. George, this is a misdemeanor. Do you want to enter a denial and then get a date?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Douglas, the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. They are going to enter a denial to these allegations today, and you're going to get an actual court date regarding the violations, okay?
Also, the two felonies were dropped over in Volusia.
Okay.
They picked up about a week later, a misdemeanor battery instead.
Got it. So I just told the prior gentleman the same thing. So that's all really good information that you're going to want to give to your lawyer prior to the next court date or whenever you speak with them so that they can work up the case and present that information to the state and the judge handling the case. I do. I'm going to give you a date right now.
It's in Division 85. It'll be February 23rd at 9 o'clock in courtroom 4A.
Yes. Get in touch with your lawyer before then. Thank you. we have, is this the plea? Mr. Garcia? All right. Are you Mr. Garcia? Mr. Barnes? Oh, Burns, there's two pleas. Okay, Mr. Burns?
Oh, the pleas. Oh.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Okay.
All right. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. George, what is the negotiated agreement on this case?
It is a withhold of adjudication, court costs, no return to the Orlando International Airport located at 1 Jeff.
Lucroix.
Yes, what she said. And, I think that's it.
Court costs?
Yes.
Withhold, credit time served, no return to the airport, and court costs. All right.
And, Mr. Burns would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Do we know how many days Mr. Burns has?
Can I get the case number, please?
Yes, ma'am. 22 MM 8167.
Thank you.
Mr. Burns, do you have any questions about the rights on the plea form?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Are you currently on probation?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I'm going to accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 37 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 37 days time served. You are not to return to the airport unless you have a purchased airline ticket. And you'll have to pay court costs. Those court costs are going to be due by January 10th of 2024.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Mr. Garcia.
Yes, ma'am, how are you?
Good morning. Mr. Garcia, were you served on that other case? Did they come serve you?
On the criminal mischief?
No, that's your plea that you're here for today. You had, it's 21 MM 6982. No one came to see you? So, Ms. Eugene, yesterday, Mr. Garcia was brought to court for an arraignment, but had not been served. He's not in jail on this particular case. Not the plea, but the 21 MM 6982. And Ms. Fleming stated that she was either gonna have him served, or she thought that your notes had stated that he'd been served in Osceola County a long time ago, but there was no affidavit of service in the file. So do you have any indication that he was served yesterday? Or any notes on that?
I do not, Your Honor. I know that there was some correspondence about trying to get him served. It seems as though with the new year, we have been having problems getting that done. But no, there is no indication that he was served yesterday, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Garcia, I'm not gonna take any action on the 21 MM 6982 because the state hasn't served you with that case. When they do serve you with that, you're going to be given, it's gonna be a summons and it's gonna have a court date. Make sure you show up to that court date.
Excuse me, ma'am, once I'm released from custody, you mean?
Yeah, you're not being held on that case.
Okay,
So
I was wondering,
if the
'cause
case,
I can't recall trespassing from,
sure, and you might not until you talk
Yeah,
with your
so
lawyer and
something
get
went
some
wrong.
more
Something went
information.
wrong.
But what I want to explain to you today is that if you don't have any other holds, you will be released, okay? The trespass case, you're not here on.
Also, the criminal mischief, that's what's, I have time served on that.
Right. But what I'm trying to explain to you is when they serve you on that trespass, if
Yes,
a
ma'am.
process server comes and hands you the papers, make sure you go to that court date.
What if I'm in Osceola County when they serve me?
Well, you still have to go.
Okay,
Okay. Oh, you mean the jail?
yeah.
I see. Well, what I would do if I were you in that case then is, I don't know how long you might be in the Osceola County Jail,
Hopefully not
but
long.
depending on what the date says,
Okay.
okay, I would write a letter to the public defender's office or the state attorney's office or the judge and say, hey, I'm in the Osceola County Jail, here's when I think I'm gonna get out. I have this court date. I don't know that I'm gonna make it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I just don't want you to end up with a capias.
I hear you.
So this particular case is 22 MM 5170. You're set for a plea this morning to the offenses of criminal mischief and battery. What is the negotiated plea, Ms. George?
Oh, Your Honor, before we move on, I'm sorry, I was looking at the plea. He is reset this afternoon for that, the same case we had him on for arraignment.
The one I was just talking about?
Yes, so I just asked that we, I don't know, reset it, send it back to the state for service, so we don't have to.
Yeah, I'm not taking any action on it. I don't have any reason, I don't have any proof of service, so I'm just not
Okay.
gonna do anything. It needs to, the state needs to serve him.
No.
Okay, so on this particular case, this is, what's the negotiated agreement?
It's an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to 247 East Michigan Street. In Orlando, Florida, there is a cost of investigation in the amount of $94.44 to the Orlando Police Department. Court cost and reserve on restitution for 60 days, is that?
Yeah, sure.
And Mr. Garcia would like to accept an enter plea of no contest, Your Honor.
All right, I'm just looking, was the criminal mischief the only thing filed on, or is the state now processing that? Okay, it's the only thing filed, okay. All right, so, Mr. Garcia, did you have any questions about the plea form, sir?
No, Your Honor. Accept.
Okay, are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation? All right, sir. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 30 days time served. You're not to return to 247 East Michigan Street. You will have to pay a cost of investigation of $94.44 to the Orlando Police Department. I will also order and reserve restitution. I will reserve as to the amount for 60 days. The court costs and the cost of investigation will all be due by January 10th of 2024.
Thank you.
All right.
Also have a question. Do you
Sure.
know how long the statute of limitations for trespassing after warning?
I don't. You have to talk with your lawyer about
Okay.
that, okay? Thank you.
Welcome. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, okay, I just forgot. Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure I didn't mess up. Just the 33 days? Ms. Eugene, just let me know whenever you're ready on the 33 days.
I'm ready, Your Honor.
Okay. So we've got 22 CF 14233 Octavia Hamilton.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 22 CF 14248 Anais Jean.
Denied, information was filed.
That'll be denied. 22 CF 14220 Rooney Saintville.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 22 CF 14241 Jadarius West.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 22 CF 14256 Thaddeus Williams.
Granted, case was no billed.
That'll be granted. 22 CF 14332 Henry Cooper.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
That is granted. 22 CF 14178 Ramel Levers.
Granted, case was no billed.
That'll be granted. 22 CF 13765 Marquez Dennis.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
That's granted. 22 CF 13716 Kayuna Davis.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 22 CF 13778 Malachi Rogers.
Granted, case was no billed.
That'll be granted. 22 CF 14075 Dewan Dennis.
Granted, case was, notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. 22 CF 14058 Charles McLean.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
That'll be granted. And it appears Mr. Luciano bonded. That's 22 CF 13132.
Okay, and information was filed.
It was filed?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna deny that motion because the information was filed
Oh, you got the order? Okay.
and he's not here.
Your Honor, did you have a second case for Charles McLean, 22 CF 13848?
1 second. Oh, I do.
That should be denied and information was filed.
For Mr. McLean?
Yes, the 13848 should be denied. 14058 should be granted, notice of non-filing.
Hold on.
13848.
All right, I've got 22 CF 14058 was granted.
Yes.
All right, and then I denied 13848.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, anything else for this morning?
Your Honor, I understand that one of the victims was downstairs. They're bringing her up now. Defendant is Michael Coleman.
I think I see her.
Oh.
Good morning.
If you can, please.
Hi, ma'am, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, just give us a minute here. We're gonna see if we can bring Mr. Coleman back up.
Okay. Wait right here.
Coleman.
Just give us a few minutes.
No problem.
Okay.
That was what started. Oh.
As a misdemeanor. Oh, did I qualified him on the record? Was that, no, that was the woman. No, when you said that was the one I had to order. Got it. Oh, perfect, thank you. I bet he is.
Yeesh. I'm gonna need at least an hour. I'm good with that. Okay. When there's 42 felonies and none of them are prosecuted?
Oh, yep.
None of them? 10? Thank you.
Mr. Coleman,
ma'am.
your,
My wife.
yes, is present. She showed up. All right. Ma'am, could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you want to have contact with your husband?
Yes, I do.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Okay, and you live together at his aunt's house, is that correct?
No, we stay, he stays back and forth between his aunt and my house, so.
Okay, so you don't technically live together, I guess?
No, not like permanently, no.
Okay. Are you afraid of him?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do you have kids together?
No, we don't.
Okay. Ms. Eugene, do you have any questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor, but I would object to contact.
Okay, based on?
Based on, there has been a previous incident of domestic violence with the same victim, Your Honor, 22 CF 9905. The state actually filed charges in that case. It was charged as,
Would you give me the case number again, please?
certainly, 22 CF 9905. State filed formal charges, battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, tampering with a witness, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and resisting an officer without violence. And I was in the process of looking up there is also an injunction that just expired, Your Honor, and I was looking up who the petitioner was in that case.
You guys filed on that one?
On which one?
The one you just named.
That one was no info.
Yes, it was, Your Honor.
So, Your Honor, since they do not live together anyway, my thing is, would they be allowed to, I would ask for contact as long as they don't reside together for the time being, so they can still be able to communicate with each other for the kids' purposes.
They don't have children.
They don't have kids.
That's true.
She has children that he's been in their lives for 5 years.
Not my kids, but they're my daughters.
He considers them his
Yes.
children.
We had barbecue days, Sunday, like, we have family day every Sundays.
So that would allow that to still occur, but they can't live in the same household. If you are inclined to do it.
I'm just reading the. I think I'm not going to modify the order at this time. It's not a final order, Mr. Coleman. So once you speak with your lawyer and there's been a little bit of time, you can certainly move the court to have that modified. But based on the information that I have today, I'm not going to modify the order. Thank you.
Yeah, about that. May we approach on this case, Your Honor?
Sure.
I just don't want to say it on the.
Okay. I'm going to allow you to have contact, well, sorry, Ms. Rodriguez, I had to look
No, you're
back down to remember your name. Ms. Rodriguez, do you want him to be able to have contact with your kids?
I mean, he's never done anything to my children. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay, I mean, do they have a relationship with him that needs?
They love him.
Okay, so what I would be willing to do today would be to allow you, Mr. Coleman, to have contact with the kids only through a third party, so maybe your mom or your aunt or something like that. So if his mom or his aunt calls you and wants to set up a phone conference for him, that's fine, but for the two of you, there is no contact right now, okay? And that can only be modified through a court order. And that's just based upon the information that I have, understanding I don't have the complete picture, but I have to make what I think is the best decision for all the parties today, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's fine, as long as I can call. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, court will be in recess. Thank you. Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Casey Lee.
Mr. Lee, you're here in 23 MM 177. You were arrested for criminal mischief.
Right.
There's probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. At this time, your bond is $500. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi there. Are you Miss Lovesmith? All right, ma'am, you were arrested in 23 MM 179 for criminal mischief and trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause, and I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the Circle K. Your bond on count 1 is 500, and your bond on count 2 is 100. Thank you, ma'am.
So much. On this one, is it ROR for the second? Resisting.
Good afternoon, sir.
This is Desmond.
Mr. Desmorow, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, sir. You're here in 23 M043. You were arrested for camping. There's probable causes there, an offer, Ms. Fleming?
Yes, and state did convey an offer on behalf of the city of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served.
Did you want to accept that offer, sir?
Well, say that again because I'm not clearly understanding.
Are you having a problem hearing me?
Yeah, I want to understand what it is exactly.
All right. So the state has made an offer today for you to accept, if you'd like. It's an adjudication of guilt and credit for time served. So you'd be released today if you wanted to enter a plea of no contest.
I'm having a little problem. I don't have any place to sleep. That's why I was camping.
I know.
So,
So are you familiar with the Christian Service Center?
this place, yeah, I've been there. They're not any like housing shelter for homeless.
What about the coalition?
But this place is not really like that flexible to find to be in there. I have been to the other one, but I'm done with all the program. That means I'm not in the street for shelter exactly because I doesn't have a home to live like.
So I would just suggest to you at this time, sir, not to go back. Well, I'm gonna tell you, you can't go back to the overpass under I-4. Okay, you're not allowed to go back there. You have to find someplace else.
All right, no problem.
Okay? Are you on probation?
I was drinking a beer at the lake, but they suspended me for a
Yeah,
year.
you can't do that either, unfortunately. Yeah. Mr. Desmorow, are you on probation?
I mean, my only kid is this one, and then I suspended for a year to
Your Honor?
lake.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask for an ROR in this case, so we can probably help him get some services and
Okay.
things of that nature.
Sure, no problem. So, Mr. Desmorow, I'm going to release you today, but the case is not over because you have not entered a plea, so you're going to have to come back to court. Do you understand?
Wow, okay.
On another day. So you're going to get a court date when you leave today, and you need to make sure that you are at the downtown courthouse on that day. That number right there is your lawyer's phone number, and you need to call them.
All right.
All right, thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Hardy?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Happy New Year.
You too, sir. You are here in 23 M044. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. Excuse me, there's probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Hardy?
Yes, they did convey an offer to Mr. Hardy of an adjudication, credit time served.
Did you want to accept that, Mr. Hardy? All right. Did you have an opportunity to look at a plea form?
That's right.
Okay. Do you have any question? Oh, go ahead.
Your Honor, do you have the case number? I don't get them on the thing.
Sure, it's 23 MO 44.
Happy New Year.
Mr. Hardy, are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served.
Yes, ma'am.
You will have to pay court costs, and those will be due by January 9th of 2024.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
No.
Canales?
No.
Sir, good afternoon. Are you Mr. Canales?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you were arrested in 23 CF 323 for battery on a medical care worker.
I don't know what that means.
Well, they're alleging that you fought with and you pulled the arm of one of the workers at Aspire. And I'm not saying if that's true or not, and I don't want you to tell me if it's true or not, but that's what they're saying happened, okay? There's probable cause for that offense. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. And your bond is $2,500. Thank you. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Daria Bermudez Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez, you were here in 23 MM21. You were arrested for 2 counts of resisting officer without violence, obstructing a criminal investigation by providing false information to law enforcement, and knowingly giving false information to law enforcement.
Your Honor, I was gonna ask as to count 2 of the resisting an officer without violence. All of the incidents stemmed from the same, well, all of the resisting without an officer without violence stemmed from the same incident. The state can only move forward on one of the resisting an officer without violence when it's stemming from the same incident. So I'd ask that you ROR as to count 2.
State has no objection.
All right. Mr. Sanchez, I am going to set your bond as to count 1 at 500. Bond on count 2, you'll be ROR'd. Bond on count 3 is 100. Bond on count 4 is 100. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, quite a bit.
I was saying that he was in a group home, so I was trying to, he has one.
He also has a out-of-state warrant from Leon.
Okay,
Or
I'll let the attorney know to see it.
out of county.
Hello. Hi, good afternoon. Could you tell me your name, please?
Chantel Baez.
Excuse me, Ms. Baez, this is your arraignment for the offense of leaving the scene with property damage in 22 CT 1657. You are represented by the Office of the Public Defender.
And Your Honor, we're gonna enter a plea of not guilty. There was no offer at this time.
All right, so this is a Division 84 case, Ms. Baez.
February 2nd at 8:45 in courtroom 4B.
It's right here.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Danny Garcia.
All right, Mr. Garcia, this is 21 MM 6982. Ms. Fleming, the summons in this case has not been served on Mr. Garcia. So I can't do anything with it.
I have notes that it was served
You do? I just don't have that in the court file.
at 10:45 in the Osceola County Jail. Back in 2021, when it was originally returned to state.
In 2021?
I have it returned to state November 9th of 2021, and we served him November 24th of 2021 at the Osceola County Jail. He was,
Not in the court file.
okay. He was
You have
set for
an
arraignment.
copy of the affidavit?
I don't think they usually update that.
Your Honor.
I don't have it.
Plea
however-
form in Osceola County for time served.
I do not have that. They don't upload it to our system. This is the investigator notes I have. However, he's currently here being held on something else. So I can have him served again today, just to make sure it reflects that in your system.
Mr. Garcia, were you served with a summons today?
I was talking to my public defender last week, but I already signed the plea form when I was in Osceola County. You guys came down to me for time served for.
This is a see, that's the situation. This is a different Orange County case that you have not been arrested on. You're not in jail on this case.
What?
This is a brand-new case from 2021. It is a trespass case.
Criminal mischief?
I would ask that it be returned to the state for service, Your Honor, then he could be brought back here, once he's served, and we could potentially resolve the case.
Right. What else is Mr. Garcia here on?
He's here on a misdemeanor crime mischief case. And let me see if there's any other holds. And he's also got an out-of-county hold out of Osceola for another, a felony case in Osceola County.
Felony case in Osceola? All right. So, Ms. Fleming, what we could do is we could just reset this for tomorrow. If you want to get with your office and see if you can get a copy of the affidavit of service and provide that to the court.
I can just have him reserved.
And you could also have them reserved, definitely. Either one of those will work.
Okay.
So, Mr. Garcia, I'm not confident that you've been served on this particular case. It's a,
I know I had it.
yeah, it's a 2021 trespass, 1665 North Chickasaw Trail. I don't even know what that is. The property of William Paldino. But
No, that's not me, ma'am.
well, I'll let you talk to the public defender about that on another day, but as of now, you have not been served with process for this case, so I don't have any jurisdiction over you.
What's that mean?
So it means that the state attorney is either gonna provide me proof that you were served in Osceola County Jail, or they're gonna have a process server come and hand you a copy of the summons and the information that tells you what the charges are. And then I'll see you again tomorrow.
So we can resolve this tomorrow?
I think so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Tell me your name, please.
Remy Blanco.
And this is 23MM180. You were arrested for battery and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim or return to the Taco Bell. And I'm gonna place you on pretrial release.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
On pretrial release,
What's that?
So you're not gonna have to pay any money to be released from the jail today. However, you're going to have to meet with the pretrial release department, and they're gonna monitor you in the community while your case is being resolved through the court process.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Lindsay Maurice Brewer.
Mr. Burton, this is 23 171. Sir, you were arrested for criminal mischief. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir.
Can I resolve the issue today?
I don't know.
There was no offer, Your Honor.
Okay, so it doesn't look like you're gonna be able to resolve the case today. Let me just look at something really quickly, Mr. Burton. Mr. Burton, do you currently have a place to stay? You do? Where are you staying?
808 West Central Boulevard.
Where?
808 West Central Boulevard.
What is that?
It's church. Like a
Church.
shelter.
Church?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of any resources if you needed to be, but it sounds like you are. Okay. Tony, do you have any information about why the state hadn't filed?
On the, on the out on bond, no, not at this time.
Okay.
I believe we tasked for surveillance footage, however, we haven't received it. That was early December.
I'm gonna stay the bond at 250 on the new case, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Sir, good afternoon. Your name, please?
Good afternoon, Devin Prince.
Mr. Prince, this is 23 166. You were arrested for trespassing.
Correct.
There's probable cause. Was there an offer conveyed?
Yes, state did convey an offer to Mr. Prince of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served of 2 days, and no return to 390 North Orange Avenue.
You would like to accept it. It's a plea of no contest, Your Honor.
Mr. Prince, did you have any questions about the plea form, sir?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
All right, sir, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the parking garage, and you'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by January 9th of 2024. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That's it.
Sir, good afternoon.
Can I have just a moment here? Okay, Your Honor.
My name Thaddeus Terrell.
What's your name?
Thaddeus Terrell.
Oh, what about Mr. Santos?
Santos?
All right, I'll take care of Mr. Thorell, but Mr. Santos, I think, was next. Mr. Terrell, this is 23MM19. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause. Is there an offer?
State did convey an offer to Mr. Terrell of an adjudication, credit time served of 2 days, and no return to the quick stop at 2604 North Powers Drive.
You would like to accept and enter plea of no contest, Your Honor.
Mr. Terrell, did you have any questions about the plea form, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You can't return to the quick stop. You'll also have to pay court costs, which will be due by January 9th of 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Santos?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Santos, this is 23MM167. You were arrested for petty theft.
And state did convey an offer to Mr. Santos of a withhold of adjudication, credit for 2 days, and no return, and restitution in the amount of $2138.
Your Honor, I am gonna act, for an ROR. He has no record. He has some arrests but no convictions. Since petty theft is enhanceable, I would rather see if he qualified for PTD as he's a military vet.
Sure. So, Mr. Santos, today I am going to release you on your own recognizance. You're going to get a court date when you're released today. Just make sure you're in court for that court date. Contact your public defender within 24 hours of your release. She's giving you the number there. And you're all set, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Joe Brown.
Mr. Brown, this is 23M039. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause.
And state did convey an offer of an adjudication, credit time served.
You would like to accept and enter plea of no contest.
Okay. Mr. Brown, do you have any questions about the plea form? Are you on probation?
Nope.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yeah.
Is that yes?
Yeah, I am a U.S. citizen.
Okay. I'll accept your plea, sir. Adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs, which will be due by January 9th of 2024. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Rudolph Burgess.
Mr. Burgess, you are here in 23M040. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Ms. Fleming?
The state did convey an offer to Mr. Burgess of an adjudication, credit time served.
Mr. Burgess, do you have any questions about the plea form? Are you on probation? Mr. Burgess, are you on probation? Okay. And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Mm-hmm.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Sir, you'll have to pay court costs, and those will be due by January 9th of 2024. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Are you Mr. Serino?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is 23M041. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Ms. Fleming, is there an offer?
Yes, Judge, state did convey an offer of an adjudication, credit time served.
Mr. Serino, do you have any questions about the plea form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs, and those will be due by January 9th of 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Devontae Connor.
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Connor?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Connor, this is 23MO42. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There was probable cause. Is it a time served offer, Ms. Fleming?
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor, based on the history that I see, I don't see any history, like convictions on his record. I don't know if they will, but he may qualify for our pretrial diversion program to try to keep it off his record. He does have a way to keep in contact with the public defender's office. I would ask for an ROR in this particular case.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Connor, I will release you on your own recognizance. You do need to contact your public defender within 24 hours of your release. You're not to return to the Beecham. Just make sure you appear at your court date, okay? Sir, good afternoon. Are you Mr. Luke?
Yes.
This is 23MO45. You were arrested for urinating in public. There's probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Luke?
Yes, Your Honor, an adjudication credit time served.
All right.
I'd like to accept and enter a plea of no contest, Your Honor.
Mr. Luke, do you have any questions about the plea form, sir?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You're going to have to pay court costs, and those will be due by January 9th of 2024.
January 9th?
2024, 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Are you Miss Scott?
Oh, yes, Sherry Scott.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You were arrested in 23MO46 for urinating in public. There is probable cause. Was this a time served offer, Ms. Fleming?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Scott, were you accepting that offer today?
Mm-hmm.
Nope, 23MO46.
Yes, Your Honor, she would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Ms. Scott, do you have any questions about the plea form? Are you on probation?
No.
Okay. And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You're going to have to pay court costs. Those will be due by January 9th of 2024.
January, okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Stevenson? Yes, ma'am. All right, sir, you were arrested in 23MO47 for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Is this also a time served offer?
Yes, Your Honor, state would ask for a withhold.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would give an offer, however, if you look, he has no criminal history at all. So I would ask for an ROR, see if we can get pretrial diversion or something to keep it off the record.
Okay. So, Mr. Stevenson, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You're given a phone number there. I need you to call that phone number within 24 hours of your release to make sure that the public defender's office has good contact information for you. When you're released, they're going to give you a court date, and you need to make sure you're back in court for that court date. Otherwise, there'll be a warrant issued for your arrest, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name.
Earl Tullis.
Mr. Tullis, you're here in 23MO48. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. Was it a time served offer for Mr. Tullis?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Tullis, did you have any questions about the plea form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Ma'am.
All right, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Your court costs will be due by January 9th of 2023. Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Welch?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This is 23MO49. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Time served. Mr. Welch, are you accepting the offer?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Excuse me. Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand this? If you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, yes.
That's okay. There's a lot going on. I will accept your plea, Mr. Welcher, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served.
Alrighty.
You will have to pay court costs, and those are due by January 9th of 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Next on the docket on the traffic, we have Francois Ruby, release PTR.
Okay.
After, next we have, Kilishi.
Nimra, okay,
Yes, ma'am. Bonded.
okay.
You have Summer Hall, did you?
Destiny Summerhall,
Yeah, she's released PTR also.
okay.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Nope. Going on to felony, you have Christopher Brown.
Yes.
He's currently on behavior status.
All right, I'm gonna find a waiver of Mr. Brown's appearance based upon his inability to come to court in 23 CF 325. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. He was arrested for grand theft and for use of an anti-shoplifting device. There is probable cause. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is 100, and he is not to return to the Burlington. Mr. Collins?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, good afternoon.
How you doing today, ma'am?
Good. Sir, you were arrested in 23 CF 311 for possession of MDMA and resisting officer without violence, and also in 23 MO 50 for an open container. There is, hold on, just let me talk, and then I'll see if I can clear this up for you, okay? So I find probable cause for the offenses. I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to call the public defender within 24 hours of your release from the jail, and you must appear at your next court date.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, just for the record, state would object. He does have 4 prior failures to appear and a very lengthy criminal history, including he just pled to something in August of 2022. So just for the record, state would object to an ROR.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, next on the docket was Gonzalez Ramirez. He bonded.
Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
My name is Dwayne Isley.
Mr. Isley, you were here in 23 CF 313. You were arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and grand theft 3rd degree of a firearm. The court does find probable cause and will appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. Your bond on count 1 is $150. Your bond on count 2 is $2,500. Oops, excuse me. Bond on count 2 is gonna be $150, and bond on count 3 is actually gonna be $2,500. Thank you, Mr. Isley.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, next on the docket was Eric McCray. He's currently on mental health status.
Ms. George, do you want me to appoint you and waive? Okay, so that's 23 CF 321, Eric McCray. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent him, and she has waived his appearance. He was arrested for possession of a concealed weapon by a convicted felon. There is probable cause. Well, this time I'm going to say the bond.
Yes,
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Mobley?
yes, I am.
Mr. Mobley, this is 23 CF 316. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. At this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, sir. You need to call your public defender within 24 hours of your release, and you must appear at your next court date, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Shipman? Mr. Shipman, this is 23 CF 320. You were arrested for possession of a controlled substance. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. At this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, sir. You need to contact the public defender within 24 hours of your release, and you must appear at your next court date.
Your Honor, next on the docket was Velasquez Angel. He's currently on mental health status.
I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, and this is going to go downtown anyway for his bond hearing. So this is 23 CF 328. Mr. Velasquez was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and burglary of a structure with an assault or battery with a weapon. The court finds probable cause. The public defender is appointed. He's entitled to a bond on count 1, which I will set at $5,000, and then bond on count 2 will be stayed at none. He's not to have any contact with the victim or return to the scene. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Wilkes, W-I-L-K-E-S.
What is it?
Wilkes, W-I-L-K-E-S.
Mr. Wilkes?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. You've got 2 cases this afternoon. 23 CF 317, you were arrested for throwing a deadly missile at or into a building. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you on both. The second case is 23 CF 318. You were arrested for criminal mischief over $1,000. I do find probable cause. Is throwing a deadly missile into a building a PBL?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. It just came in at no bond.
I believe it's just an F2.
That's what I thought. Okay. Right. Mr. Wilkes, on 23 CF 317, I'm setting your bond at $3,500, and bond on 23 CF 318 is going to be set at $150. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with any of the witnesses in the case or possess any weapons, sir. Do you have any questions, Mr. Wilkes?
Do I have a release date?
No, this is pre-trial, so you can pay the bond and then you'd be released.
So what?
It looks like, are you on probation? Is he on probation?
No. I just got one charge. I got stopped in front of the store.
Not that I see.
Okay. So, like I said, sir, you can post your bond and then you would be released, and then you'd have to come back to court and you'll resolve your case. Or if you can't pay your bond, you have to have your lawyer file a motion, or you'll be here until your case is resolved. Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anything else?
No, you're.
Right, then court will be adjourned without a ticket, and I'll stay the bond at 1,000. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Desires Serrano Perez.
Mr. Serrano, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, sir. You were arrested in 23 CF 308 for possession of cocaine. I do find there is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You're not to return to the scene. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time, sir. You need to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release to make sure they have great contact information for you, okay?
And Your Honor, he was brought back to address the fad that was found yesterday.
I didn't, oh.
It might not
Why?
be, he was seen yesterday, and they ordered him onto PTR, but it was found that he had a open PTD case that was rejected and is now set for future dates
Okay.
that needs to be addressed.
Sure, I'm not gonna take any action on
Okay.
that. Good luck, sir. Get in touch with your lawyer, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, so we have several this morning where there are two defendants, I guess.
Yes, sure.
So when I was here before, we would usually bring them both in at the same time. Okay, and then address them. All right, so we'll do that again. And on this one, Mr. Sanders is, yeah. Mr. Sanders was a misdemeanor though, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And are you Miss Charlotte? Is that how you say your last name? Okay, thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Megan, what's the issue with the PTR on Miss Charlotte's?
Charlotte, the charge is an ag bat.
Oh, thank you. All right, again, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to address Miss Charlotte's case first. This is case number 23CF319. Ma'am, you were arrested for aggravated battery. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Sanders, as the alleged victim in this case, I'm assuming, do you have any questions for him, Ms. Fleming?
None, since they're both victims and defendant and state law has no questions.
Okay. Well, Mr. Sanders, do you want to have contact with Ms. Charlotte?
I mean, in the end of the day, she still has a lot of things. Like, we live in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see how that would work if I did not have no contact.
Well, are you afraid of her?
No?
Who do you live with?
My mom?
All right, so you both live with your mom?
Yes.
Okay. Who else lives there?
My sister?
Okay. Before I talk to Mr. Sanders about his charge, Ms. Charlotte, are you afraid of Mr. Sanders?
No, I'm not.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Like he said, I have my stuff at his house, so I would like to go back and get my stuff.
Do you have another place to stay?
Yeah, I'm not going back over there. So. I'm
Where
gonna
would
be
you
with
stay?
My mom.
At your mom's? Okay. All right. So do you want to have contact with Mr. Sanders?
I'm not afraid of him, so yeah, we could have contact. Like, there's no, no fear or anything. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think what I'm going to do at this time is, for both of you, well, Mr. Sanders, you were arrested for battery and assault in case number 23MM186. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you as well. Megan, does he have fads?
No, Mr. Sanders does not, and he does qualify for PTR.
Okay. So, Mr. Sanders, I'm gonna place you on pretrial release. I am gonna order, though, that you're not to have any contact with Ms. Charlotte. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. And then, Ms. Charlotte, I am going to also order that you are not to have any contact with Mr. Sanders. You're to maintain a separate residence, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You can go back with the police one time to get your things from his house.
Can I send my mother to go get them? Because I don't want to go over there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then, I'm going to set your bond, ma'am, at $500.
Okay.
Okay? All right, any questions, Ms. Charlotte?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Sanders, any questions for you?
No, ma'am.
All right. How much was the bond, Your Honor? 500?
No. Like, more like in the police, like, that was to document. Like, there's one right here. My face hurts right now. Like, this side of my face hurts.
Oh, just for the record, Your Honor, she has bruises on her hand and arm. So. Number is 100.
Thank you.
Mr. Collins? All right, good morning. Sir, you can come up to the microphone. Sir, you were arrested for 2 cases this morning. You've got 23 MM 172. You were arrested for petty theft. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender in both of your cases this morning. You are not to return to the Walmart, and your bond on that case is $500. You were also arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant in 22 CF 14883 for battery by strangulation and battery. Is there a victim present for Mr. Collins? Doesn't appear so. Mr. Collins, your bond on count 1 is going to be $1,500. Your bond on count 2 will be $100. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I am, however, revoking the bonds in 22 CF 632 and 22 CF 14068. Those, sir, will be set at none. You're gonna wanna get in contact. It looks like Mr. Barker is or Baker. Is that a public defender? Mr. Baker?
Not sure.
Okay, I had read it as Eric Barker, who's a private attorney, and that's why I thought.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
the name.
In any event, Mr. Collins, you're gonna wanna get in contact with your lawyer on those cases that I revoked the bond on, okay?
Swear.
All right, thank you.
Eric Barker's at Nijing.
Right, but I think this is Baker.
Oh.
But I read it as Barker. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Miss Walton.
Ms. Walton, this is 23 CF 312. You were arrested for aggravated battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I don't see a victim for Ms. Walton. Ms. Walton, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things if necessary, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. It looks like DCF was contacted, so I would request that you cooperate with any DCF investigations or requests. Does Ms. Walton qualify? Oh, no, it's an aggravated battery. Yep, okay. All right, Ms. Walton, I'm gonna set your bond at $500, okay? All right, thank you. All right, so then we've got Darius Black and David Madeira. Good morning.
Good morning, Your
Are
Honor.
you Mr. Black?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I gotta find Mr. Yeah,
Madeira's not here for mental health.
is mental health.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On Madeira, though, I'm just gonna address it at this time. Ms. George,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you want to waive?
I will waive.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Black, you were arrested in 23 MM 174 for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with Mr. Madeira. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can go back one time to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I am going to place you on pretrial release. Mr. Madeira, who all lives at the house? Or, I'm sorry, Mr. Black.
I'm a subleaser and my wife she's the main lease tenant. So we like own the house in a sense. We don't own it because we leased.
I understand. Okay. That is really gonna be a civil issue. So at this time, both of you are gonna be ordered that you can't live together. I can't say who has rightful possession of the property. That's something that you're all gonna have to determine in civil court. I will tell you this, if Mr. Madeira is not there, then you can be there. It's gonna be kind of tricky because you both have the same order. So I would certainly speak with your wife or who's ever on the lease and figure that out and go down to the courthouse and see what they might be able to assist you with.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
All of this?
And the bond on that's gonna be $500.
For Madeira?
Madeira? Sorry, for Black.
Darius?
You said at
Black was
PTR.
PTR.
Your Honor.
Oh, did I really?
Yes. He qualifies for PTR.
Okay,
Mr. Madeira does not qualify.
that's what I'm looking at right now is Mr. Madeira's sheet.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
You're fine.
Sorry about that, sir. Have a good day. All right, so for Mr. Madeira then, and that's case number 23 MM 175. He was arrested for battery domestic violence. I'm appointing the public defender. There is probable cause. Ms. George, you've waived his appearance, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And he's not to have any contact with Mr. Black. He's to maintain a separate residence, one-time return, no weapons or firearms, and then the bond will be $500 for Mr. Madeira. And then here's Mr. Black's. Let me just take his sheet out of here. All right. Good morning. Are you Mr. Davis? All right. And this is 23.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. This is 23 MM 20. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Could I get you to raise your right hand? Thank you. And then everyone else who's out in the gallery, if you're going to testify this morning, could I get you to stand up and raise your right hand, please? Thank you. I need you to continue to raise your right hand for me. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Sir, you may be seated. All right, are you Miss Lorraine?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ma'am, are you afraid of your son?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want him to return to the house?
Yes, but under certain circumstances, it's my son and I don't need him out on the street. Kimani needs help mentally, and it's been going on for the longest. And I went downtown and I filed an ex parte order, and the judge signed it, so I need to go down and pick it up. But Kimani needs to go to a facility to get checked out. And I am not here to file any charges against my son. He needs help.
Give me 1 second.
And Your Honor, just for the record, there was another battery case with Miss Lorraine as the alleged victim from November, so approximately 2 months ago. And at that time, she also told the state that she wanted him to get mental health help. But she did not want to continue with the case at that point either.
Okay, so Judge Marquez did sign a Baker Act order, on 1/3. Ex parte order, it looks like. Based on the petition that Mom filed, that Miss Lorraine filed. So would there be a hold here for that?
We had this issue before, Your Honor, on another case, and the parent actually wanted the person held here and to allow the mental health facility to come directly here to pick them up, but they said they could not hold him for that, so he had to be released, and then they had to work, like, there is no, I guess.
Your Honor, can you have him screened for mental health PTR, which generally takes a day or two?
It's interesting because it says, it's a pickup order, so I don't understand why it says, it's therefore ordered that a law enforcement officer or designated agent of the court take the above named person into custody and deliver or arrange for the delivery of said person to the central receiving center. A law enforcement officer or agent may serve and execute this order on any day of the week at any time of day or night.
Right, and so we had the same issue, and we were trying to do this from here so that he would be released, and then they would be right there to pick him up and take him to whichever facility, but they said they could not do that. So I don't know how to go
And
about
I don't have a legal basis to hold him on this case, right? I mean, I'm gonna set a bond on
Right.
this case.
But I don't, even if we did the mental, I don't think holding him is gonna do anything, because they were telling us that they would not come to the jail to get him, so I don't know.
My only suggestion was if we did screen him for mental health PTR, he may or may not qualify, most likely not from our experience. However, that usually takes a day or two, which would give Miss Lorraine time to go get that ex parte order and call someone possibly to see if there is a meeting place. I'm not really sure, Your Honor, but.
Today's the last day too. It's only valid for 7 days. And today's the last day.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, today, just gonna tell you, Your Honor, I love my son, but this same thing been going on for the longest. And when the cops came, I told him, I'm like, they have to charge him, but he doesn't need to come down to jail. He need to go, because he's met of the things that he does. He just talk to himself for like days. He sit and just laugh for days. He pour ketchup on my door. You know the stuff that he does. He piles up garbage in front of my daughter's door. He bombed it. So I know from my nursing experience, it is not right up here. So that's what he need. He just doesn't need to come down here and then send him back out, and then the same thing keep happening over and over and over. And I'm not here to press any charges because I love my son.
I understand.
I need him to get help,
And-
please. And I have to work today, and I make sure I'm here to talk to you regarding, yes.
And is there someone that I can call about this order? Like who I would talk to see if it could be served? Who would that be? Megan, do you know? Would it be Jenny or Sandy or?
I mean, I guess it would be Sandy. I mean, there are sheriffs like out in the lobby. So I don't know with inmate records, if when he's like.
I mean, I can't make them serve it, but I can tell them that it's there.
Right. I guess Sandy, she's in charge of inmate records, and inmate records would be the ones releasing him and who could like communicate, I guess, with the sheriff outside.
What about Sergeant Casey? Is he still,
I'm not sure which sergeant's here today.
In that,
Like, I think it would be inmate records that, well, it would be the sheriff out there, but inmate records would probably communicate
and if you,
with the sheriff.
and maybe if you speak to them, Your Honor, we could get some more clarity on how to handle it moving forward as well.
okay.
'Cause I don't know, I haven't seen.
All right, so what I'm gonna do though, just for now, so we can, move forward, is I'm gonna set the condition, of release for Mr. Davis. And then I'm gonna, when I get done this morning, I'm gonna figure that part out. Ms. Davis, would you be posting his bond?
I'm sorry, Anna?
Would you be the person who would post his bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Does it qualify for PTR, Megan?
We didn't, just because we have concerns that
About the
he'll be able
mental
to
health?
comply and don't want to kind of set him up.
Yep. All right. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, and this order can be modified, but I think this is just the safest thing to do for now, so we can get everything into place, is, Mr. Davis, and I don't want you to feel like I'm talking around you or not to you at all. I was just trying to gather the information that I need to make some decisions, okay?
Okay.
All right. So today, I'm gonna order that you are not to have any contact with your mom. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can go back one time with the police to get your things if you need to, and you can't possess any weapons or firearms, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So your mom, as you've heard, is extremely concerned about you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And she
Yes,
has
ma'am.
gotten a judge to sign an order to have you evaluated to see if you need some help, all right? I'm going to see if we can get that.
And, Your Honor, I think my only concern is that, even if we do the maintain separate residence, at least be able to have communication, maybe via phone with his mom. It does not appear he has anyone else with the mental health issues. Even just standing here, you know, I've noticed certain things, and I think that he at least needs, and mom needs to be able to communicate, especially about the
Right.
order and all of those things going on.
You're okay with that, right? Ms.
Yes, ma'am. I really don't, he doesn't have anywhere to go.
I know, I just have concerns about this continuing to happen, and it's not a final order, it can be modified, but I really just want to get him to where he should go to get evaluated, and then that
Yeah,
can be
yes, from
modified.
here, but not on the street because there's,
And that's what I'm trying to do.
yes, okay.
Okay, and then, what I'll do is I'll have you maybe give Miss George your phone number, and then she can keep you updated as to what happened in court today.
Okay.
Or regarding the Baker Act.
Yes, ma'am.
You would post his bond anyway, so I'm gonna set the bond at $500.
Okay.
And so he's not, as you stated, he's not gonna be leaving, you know, until you post that bond. So that gives some time to put a plan into place until you'll know, and you know that order expires today. So unless it's served today, you know, you can kind of set some things up for him before he's released. And I will modify the order to say, that you can have communication via phone for now, okay? That way he can contact you and talk to you so you can make plans together. I just don't want him to go back to the house right now, and I don't want you living together right now.
So I would still go downtown and pick up that ex parte order, or?
I'm gonna have Miss George, if you don't mind, Miss George, call her because I'm hoping that I can get the sheriff to serve it while he's here. right? And it wouldn't require you to go get it.
Okay,
But if you have the time, because it's time sensitive,
right,
I would just run down there so you have it in case you need it.
yes,
Okay? But she'll call you later today.
okay,
We'll be done, here shortly this morning, so I should have an answer for you
Okay.
before lunch.
yes,
Okay?
yes.
Anything else, ma'am?
Oh, ma'am, thank you. I just need some help for him.
I
please.
understand.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Davis, do you have any questions for me?
No.
No?
Have a great one.
Okay, sir. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Do you have everything that you need? Good. Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Diaz?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Diaz, this is 23 MM178. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Don't see a witness for Mr. Diaz. Sir, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm gonna place you on pretrial release.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Sorry?
Your name?
Margaret Cassica.
Okay, Ms. Cassica, this is 23 MM165. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause. Your affidavit for the public defender indicates that you don't have any dependents and you get paid $2,200 every month, every 2 weeks. Okay. What do you do for work?
Manager at Delta Airlines call center.
Okay. So this indicates that you do not qualify for the public defender. Ma'am, do you have any money in a savings account or the ability to hire a lawyer? Plan on hiring a lawyer?
I can try, yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do then is, well, based on the affidavit that you've filled out, ma'am, I'm not going to appoint the public defender at this time. What I'll do is I'll have you try to hire a lawyer, and then when you come to your arraignment, if you haven't been able to, then let the judge know, and then he'll be able to revisit it. Because on your affidavit, you've indicated you've got savings, you've got stocks, you've got equity in a boat or car. So I'm gonna have you try to hire the lawyer, and then if you can't, you can talk to the judge. Good morning, sir.
Morning, ma'am.
Are you Mr. Cassica?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. Are you afraid of your wife?
I'm not afraid of her. I'm concerned for her. She does frighten me whenever we have arguments, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want to have contact with her?
I do not want to have contact with her.
Got it. All right. So, ma'am, at this time, I am going to order that you are not to have any contact with your husband. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You can return to the house one time with the police to get your things if you need to. And I'm going to place you on pretrial release.
Your Honor, state would also ask for a one-time return to the Saratoga Springs Resort. I believe they are here on vacation.
Oh, okay.
Your
Were you
Honor.
guys staying at the resort? Yes, okay. And do you have luggage and things there you need to get?
I don't know.
Your Honor, I have her luggage with me in my truck now. I had arranged with her mom and dad to drop those items off at their house so that she could have her items back. Now, we do share that residence together. She owns the house. I intend to move out but I need a few days to pack up my things, and I'm gonna be living with my friend until I get an apartment. But I do have a 6-year-old son who lives with his mom primarily. But for once I get settled, I'll be able to have my son back. So at this time, I just need to go back and get my things. I need a few days to do so. But at that time, I would not like to be around her while I get those things. I do not want her to contact me.
Got it. Okay. All right, so the conditions I stated are exactly the same, but I'll explain to you that if he is not at the house and not living there once he's moved out, you can go back. You just can't live together, no matter where that is, okay? And if, I'll put on there if you need to return to the Saratoga Springs one time to get anything, if something was forgotten, you can go back to do that. I think that covers everything. Do you have any questions? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Good morning. Are you Miss McKinnon?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, this is 23 MM 185. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence, and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can go back one time with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. And I'm gonna place you on pretrial release. Do you have any questions, Ms. McKinnon?
But if most, you don't live there.
Okay, so Mr. Ramos is yes. David is yes. Dave, Martin, Ramos, and David. Yep. Sir, good morning. Are you David Ramos? Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Could we get Mr. Martin Ramos as well? Thank you. Good morning, sir. Are you Martin Ramos?
Yes.
All right, so Mr. David Ramos, you were arrested in 23 MM 169 for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Martin, do you want to have contact with your brother?
Don't matter.
Well, I need to know yes or no.
No, preferably.
Preferably no. Okay, no problem. And then, so let me just finish with you, David. At this time, I'm going to order that you're not to have any contact with your brother, Martin. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. Do you all live together?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to order the same thing for you, Mr. Ramos, so let me explain this to you both. I don't know who has the right to be at the house or not. Whose house is it?
That's my mother's.
Okay.
She rents it.
To you both?
No, she rents it to the landlord. She's renting.
Oh, okay. It's your mom's renting the house and you
Yeah.
all live with her?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so that is a family issue that will have to be worked out, but neither of you have the absolute right to be there. So if one of you's not living there, the other one can, and vice versa, but you both can't live
I
there.
do have a place to stay though, but it's not here. It's in Michigan with my daughter. So
Okay.
I could leave.
Okay, you understand, so I'm gonna put you on PTR today, but you understand that if you were to go to, Ms. George, you're looking at me, are you just listening? Okay. Okay. If you go up there, Mr. Ramos, you have to continue to check in with PTR. They'll tell you how to do that via phone.
What is that?
Pretrial release, they're gonna monitor you in the community with your conditions until your case is resolved. So you won't have to post any money to get out of the jail today, but you are gonna have to check in with PTR. The most important thing that I wanna explain to you, though, is if you do go to Michigan, you are going to have to come back for all of your court dates. If you don't, there will be a capias issue, which is a bench warrant for your arrest. Okay, and it's not fun, because if you get picked up in Michigan, they're gonna hold you up there, and then they're gonna have to extradite you back to Florida, and it's gonna be a big, long process, and it's not gonna be enjoyable. Okay, so just make sure you stay in contact with your attorney, and they'll be able to advise you of your court dates. You can also check your court dates on myorangeclerk.com to see when you have court,
Okay,
okay?
yep,
I just don't want you to get arrested for failing to appear,
okay,
okay? But am I clear that if, Martin is not at the house, then, David, you are allowed to be there. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, but if he's there, then you can't.
Okay.
Same for you, sir. Okay, so David, I already told you no contact, one-time return with the police to get your things if you need to, and no weapons. I'm placing you as well on pretrial release. And then for Martin, it was,
They just took Martin.
can I get
Oh,
Martin?
I think we weren't
We
done.
wasn't finished.
I didn't know if I missed something. or- All right, I wasn't finished, so I wanted to
Okay.
make sure you understood. You can't have any contact with your brother, you have to maintain a separate residence, you can go back one time to get your things with the police, and you can't possess any weapons or firearms.
okay,
All right, and you're on pretrial release.
okay.
Okay,
So I
all
could
right,
go
you both
home?
are finished, thank
And, Your
you.
Honor, just in case he does decide to go to Michigan, could we just have on the order that he is able to reside
Yes.
in Michigan if
Put that.
he decides to do that?
Okay. Make sure everyone has really good contact information for you, though, okay?
If I decide to leave?
Correct. Well, in general, but
I mean,
if
I might
definitely
have
if you
to-
leave.
I might have to, because I got nowhere else to go. That's the only place I could live
Okay,
with my daughter.
okay,
So I'm give her all the information. She'll make sure of it too.
okay. All right, take care, sir. Thank you both.
The first one out of county is Michael Andrews. He refuses appearance.
All right, I'll find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal. This is an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County. The bond is set at $20,000, and I'll stay the bond. Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Andrew Dupree.
Mr. Dupree, this is an out-of-county warrant out of Lake County related to a violation of probation for driving while license suspended. The bond is set at none. Lake County is going to pick you up, and you'll see a judge when you get there.
I was actually been homeless. I didn't know I had a warrant.
Stop. I don't want you to talk about the facts.
Thank you, sir.
And Your Honor, last on the out of county is Zambrana Felix. He's currently on mental health status.
You think he'll be okay to come tomorrow?
I will, usually, Your Honor, we waive so they can get to the county. If not, we'll hold him up.
Okay, will there be the reporting requirements on the, like his paperwork? Because he's got a bond.
Okay.
That was my only issue, is that if he posts the bond, he has reporting requirements. We put that on the order, Ann? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so, this is Mr. Zambrana. It's an out-of-county warrant from Seminole County for failing to appear for arraignment for possession of cannabis and possession of drug paraphernalia. The bond is set at $5,000. I'll stay the bond, and Mr. Zambrana has reporting requirements when he's released. Any arraignment? Ms. Fleming, let me know whenever you're ready on the 33 day.
I'm ready when
You're
you are,
good?
Judge.
Okay. 22 CF 14074, Demetrius Odom.
Granted, notice and on filing.
That'll be granted. 22 MM 8149, Clifford Grant Sutton.
Denied, and information was filed.
denied. 22 CF 14111, D'Angelo Alston,
Granted, notice and on filing.
that'll be granted. 22 CF 14191, Ramaya Johnson,
Granted, it was no build.
that'll be granted. 22 CF 13439, Keon Calhoun Medina,
Granted, no build.
that will be granted. 22 CF 14132, Scott Bell,
Granted, notice and on filing.
that'll be granted. 22 CF 13894, Thomas McCrimmon,
Granted, notice and on filing.
that'll be granted. 22 CF 14283, Euclides Guzman,
Granted, notice and on filing.
that will be granted. And 22 CF 14077, Fred Blanc,
Granted, notice and on filing.
that will be granted. I believe that's everything, yes? All right, then court will be in recess.